Well, hello. This is Erin Esser with Morning Musings or Morning Minutes. Um, it is not morning right now. It is about 10 o'clock Eastern Time, United States time, on the Eastern Coast of the US on April 23rd, 2023. Uh, I'm going to be doing this a little different today. I'm going to be doing a couple days together. I'm going to be doing the 23rd, which is today, but I'm also going to be doing the 24th. So you'll get a heads up for Monday, the 24th of April, if, depending on where you are in the world. So we're in for interesting energy. And what I want to bring to you is um, kind of an overview of Taurus. Now that the sun, you know, I'm mainly focusing on the energy from our soul's point of view. So, with the sun being in Taurus, and I'm utilizing the Sabian symbols, my own intuition, and my own experience as well. And as I'm sitting with today's and tomorrow's energy, there's a lot of activation, especially on the 24th. But first off, what I want to bring to you is that we are in basically, there's different like chapters within the Sabian symbols for each sign. And with Taurus, we're in the chapter of power. So we are understanding how powerful we are, right? And we came from Aries, which this is what I'll read to you. What we came from is proficiency. So the last 5 days in Aries, which would have been, I don't know, over the last few days. So, like 4 days ago, 4 days ago, you can think back to maybe about 8 days ago, right in there, maybe 8, 9 days ago. We were in the proficiency part of Aries, right? So how proficient, you know, are we, right? And then we move into Taurus. So this is very evolutionary when we think about it in that way. So like I've said in other videos, one day leads into the next, leads into the next, leads into the next. So as we finish out today and tomorrow in the power chapter, the next chapter after power is effectiveness. So you can just kind of keep that in your back pocket. And that's for Tuesday, the 25th of April. But for today, this is this is Sunday. So you can kind of do a reflection, right? What was your Sunday like? Because this is really about the promise of abundance. This is about the fruits. You can call it the fruits of the spirit, whatever the fruits of your life that start to manifest when we bridge, the earthly plane and the heavenly plane. So if you remember yesterday when I was talking about this, and I hadn't even read this yet at all, but I literally was tuning into this energy, and I said, where we're going on our path, in this new path, is going to be dictated by the state of being that we are in. And what state of being are we in, even when we're doing the dishes, or we're meditating, or we're in yoga? Are we in the same state of being? This is how we transcend time. This is how we transcend and transmute our everything. I mean, who we are, the path that we're on, how we're walking it, everything. So, and then it's interesting because today I'm reading this, as I read it actually yesterday evening, I thought, okay, this is interesting that this is about bridging the earthly plane and the cosmic realms, the earthly plane and the heavenly realm. So when we're doing mundane things like washing the dishes, doing our daily stuff that we've got to do, right? In what state are we in? So, um, and it also says here, so Dane read yours, interpretation of it is the pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, but it's the remembrance that, that it's not when we feel overwhelmed, right? This is like a big one on like feeling like overwhelmed. And I've had many lessons recently with overwhelm. And I may have even talked about this in one of the days, but overwhelm comes when we don't feel competent. However, then if we have a belief that we're not competent, we will always take on things that overwhelm us to keep perpetuating this belief that we're not competent. So it's all about also when we're in that state, when we have that belief that we're not competent, we are not enjoying the process. So today's energy really is about enjoying the process. It's having an idea of where we're going, right? Seeing that gold, that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but realizing though that the real gifts, the real fruit is that every step that we're taking along this path, that we're bridging we're closing in on that gap between, the mundane and the sacred. I'm going to just share with you one of the things I had a lot of time years ago with Orthodox Jewish families in Denver, Colorado, and in Houston, Texas. And I even worked with a rabbi actually a few days a week in Jerusalem. And one of the things that I loved, it was ritual. Everything down to every drink that they took of water, every bite that they put in their mouth, there was a prayer. There was a thank you. There was gratitude. There was the sacred that was being brought in and pulled in to the mundane in everyday life. That is what I loved. And that is the energy of today. And it's no accident that I brought this out yesterday's, because this is how we know where we're going in this lifetime and our path that we're on. That didn't come out the way I really am meaning it, but that's the best way I can say it right now. So this is every step that you take. Remember that you are walking on sacred ground. Every step that you take, there's power in that step. There's intention in that step. There's magic in that step. So nothing is done in this state of, and when we feel that we are in this state of overwhelm, slow down and remember that, the beauty is in the process. And yeah, anyway, I just, that's what I wanted to share, with you, because the end is never fixed. We never get to the end. There's always things to do, always life to live. And this is going to bring us into the next symbol. There is no end. I mean, that's just an illusion. Even there's no end in death. So what I want to do now is bring out Monday, April 24th, Sabian symbol. And you're going to see here, this is the crazy thing. I love this because every symbol like I said, every time that leads into the next, leads into the next, leads into the next. And I tell you what, you align yourself with this. You watch these every day, you tune in and you look at the symbols yourself every day. You're going to start to recognize it in your own life. And this is the crazy thing about it. I'm just like, oh my God. I'll tell you this. I did a podcast with um, Saturn and Pisces, which we're going to talk about because Saturn is in Pisces and it's sextiling the sun for Monday. And the sun is, conjuncting the North Node. So there's an interesting energy, and which we'll talk about here in a minute. But I did this video right before I did this podcast yesterday on religion with Saturn and Pisces and going back into history. One of the podcasts we're going to go on, and we're going to go back in history because the last time was in the 1700s. The time before that was in the 1500s. And there was a lot of witch hunts. There was a lot of the Inquisition in the 1500s, 1700s. It was just, there was so much of, holy wars, things like that. And so, and you can see a lot of that stuff happening. But I kept talking about this bridge and Meredith, and you can find her podcast at Meredith's Lucky Stars, and our conversations there. And she's an astrologer, and she's got some really great videos as well too on her YouTube channel. So check that out. But anyway, I kept saying these things, and then I messaged her after I was looking at this last evening after our podcast and everything, and I thought, oh my gosh, and we were talking about the rainbow. More on that later, but everything was, I was like, oh my God, you'll never believe this. The Sabian symbol for tomorrow is all about the bridge, which I kept saying this, and I even said it in yesterday's video, and there's rainbow. So anyway, you'll start to live it. You'll start to experience it because it's our soul. And we are connected. And the more we focus on and be present, the more, we're going to notice life in a new way. So let's get with this. So April 24th, we're finishing up the power chapter for Taurus. And this is about cutting ties with the past. So how I am tuning into this energy, because this is the thing, right? We're doing that from the perspective of our soul. But right now our soul on Monday, the 24th, is like literally like meeting up with the North Node. Now, the North Node in Taurus. And so now if this energy, the North Node and the sun is both at cutting ties with the past, what could possibly be coming up for you that might allow you to cut ties with something that's not allowing you to be in your worth? Maybe it's a belief that you've always thought of yourself as maybe not worthy or not good enough or not competent, right? We were just talking about that. Whatever this is that's not allowing you to truly step out in your worth and express who you are and be in your power, right? We're in the power chapter. Then, it's got to go. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a job title. Maybe it is how you're seeing yourself. Maybe it is like where you live, maybe a house. I don't know. I'm getting like there's like somebody like with a house or something like that they want to move so bad, but they feel like they're bound to their location for some reason. Something about their house is like they can't let it go, or they can't get rid of it, or they're stuck to it, something like that. But anyways, for whoever that's for. But anyways, it's about cutting ties with the past and coming to terms with the temporary nature of all relationships, positions, and possessions. And the Dane Rudyard Sabian symbol, his terminology for this is a widow at an open grave. And so here's the thing, because it's conjuncting the North Node, but then also too, we are in relationship. This is going to be in relationship to Saturn and Pisces as well too, at the same degree. So it's 60 degrees apart, which means it's in sextile. And the chapter for that is harmonization. So there's like a harmonization. It's like power and harmonization together, right? Because Taurus power, this chapter, and Pisces is harmonization. So there's this harmonizing of power, and something needs to be let go of in your life. Something needs to be surrendered. You need to move past something, right? To get back in this, your power, and with harmony of who you are, this harmonization of power. And it could be something even around money, around possessions, around a new way of looking at yourself and money, maybe a new way that you are receiving money, maybe maybe it's a new money system that might be even coming in, in your life. Maybe something I don't know. I don't know, but something around that. So just pay attention to that. That might be coming up on Monday, but this is a powerful day. This is an activation day. There's a potential for activation. Well, it is activating, but then the potential lies in the sextile. It's activation between our soul and the North Node. Our soul and the North Node is like where we're like going in this lifetime, the trajectory. So there's this help from like our future self, if you want to think about it like that, to say, yes, like we need to cut ties here, and we need to move past something that's kept us back. And this is really about, it says the gate to freedom is in the ability to turn feelings around, realizing that everything dies, and that we need to have the ability to release our attachments and move our focus of attention away from what has passed. Realizing that in life, we will be tested around our emotional ability to cope, and our emotional integrity. And grief is a big piece of this for ourselves, and to learning how to process grief, learning how not to stay in grief, but to allow it to move through us so that we can navigate it, and we can recognize it, and we can honor it, and we can, hold it. And then we know when it's time to let it go. And because it can leave us in a state of feeling powerless, right? It can leave us in a state of feeling despair, right? True despair. And when we're in that state, we will not move forward, right? So something is needing to be resolved within your life that you might have that ability to be able to see it differently, to move forward. So I wanted to read you something that I thought was pretty crazy. So let's see here. Where is it saying this here? Yeah, it says we simply cannot progress towards our fullest potential without enduring and learning how to cope with these seemingly impossible emotional trials. Death is as much a beginning as an ending. So realizing that whatever you're letting go of, whatever you know you need to let go of, maybe it's an addiction to an emotion, an addiction to a substance, an addiction to a person, that if you focus on, okay, if I'm letting this go, I'm opening the door to something new coming in. Everything real is within us. What we cannot fully embody within ourselves is not truly ours. So the loss of anything external does not, in fact, rob us of anything essentially real within us. That's a big one, right? That's a big one to come to terms with. Everything real is within us. What we cannot fully embody within ourselves is not truly ours. So the loss of anything external does not, in fact, rob us of anything essentially real within us. Realizing that everything is within us, right? Everything real is within us. The fact that if we're holding on to something external to us, It's not real. And it's literally tethering us to, to not allowing us to move forward. Each moment is already gone in the instant of its arrival. Think about it like this: life is death. The advanced being knows how to release completely and immediately all experiences. They are outworn the moment that we recognize them. So, life is death. Each moment is already gone in the instant of its arrival. Life is death. There's an opportunity within every moment and with every experience, being so present, because we know that as precious as it is fleeting, right? Like just that every word we say, there's a death then at the end of that word, right? Like, I mean, we can go down and like that rabbit hole and whatnot, and I'm not going to here in this video, but um, it's who are we through these experiences that we experience when we go through grief, right? Who do we become? There's a death of ourselves also when we say we lose someone. I lost my dad this last fall, and I know a lot of us have lost loved ones in the last, few years. There's been a lot of loss, and we change too when we deal with this, when we go through this. There's a death of ourselves in some ways as well too. There's a celebration though too of the newness of who we are also though too, and the doors that we get to open within that reality. So and it always comes back to, we have a choice to make in every situation, right? We can hold on to it. And I feel like this is also part of a choice point that we have on the 24th. This is a major choice point where and especially too, we have, Mercury and Uranus too, conjunct in Taurus also, right? So there might be this sudden kind of flash of thinking of, this choice point that we're going to be at a choice point of, am I going to keep wishing things were as they were in whatever part of your life, right? It could go, God, I wish that it was back in this time in my life. I wish I was back, say pre-2020. I wish that blah, 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 whatever, right? Or or are we going to let go? Because that time has passed, right? Every time, all the time has passed. And even now it's passing, it's passing, it's passing. Life just keeps passing, 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 right? Again, life is death if we look at it like that. So to move forward, right, is recognizing that and not wanting to go back and not wanting to hang on. Because when we hang on, even if you think about that, right, we're turning around and we're looking back. Even think about in the Bible, right? Wasn't it like Lot's wife or whatever turned her pillar of salt because she looked back? So this is about recognizing where you're stuck, recognizing that the opportunity that you have to mourn and to fully move through that so that you can move on. And there's, like I said, it's an activation day because the sun is with the North Node. So there's some power there, and you might get a little like feeling of extra juice, so to speak, in your day. So anyway, this is a longer video than normal, so I'm going to sign off here. And but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you find value in it, and I hope you have a beautiful day on the 24th. I'm going to be hopping on a plane to Iceland. So 24 hours from now, I'll be actually in New York, getting ready on my layover to hop onto Iceland. So That's part of the reason why I did tomorrow's right now also. So anyway, have a beautiful rest of your evening, and until next time. And let me know in the comments below if you have a moment, this choice point, if you feel that this resonates for you on Monday's energy or even on Sunday's energy. I would love to know that, and I will share with you on the next video what I've experienced as well. So wishing you well, and until next time, bye-bye.